Cambridge Stud in New Zealand has produced many middle distance and staying stars from its lush green paddocks for decades, but its latest acquisition carries a large dose of Danehill speed. Hello Youmzain, a Group 1 winning sprinter, is by the star sire of 2-year-olds in the Northern Hemisphere, Kodiak, who himself is a son of our great breed shaper, Danehill.
Hello Youmzain wins by a few lengths.
And Hello Youmzain by 2.5 lengths defies the inexperienced to win it.
Hello Youmzain has won the Sandy Lane Stakes.
But it's Hello Youmzain who holds on to win the Betfair Sprint Cup.
Henry, obviously, it's been a roller coaster of a year. It's so fabulous, though, to see you have a new stallion, not coming immediately, but to come to Cambridge Stud in Hello Youmzain.
Quite a big opportunity, we thought, and we were surprised that the horse was available. And we actually had a look at the horse after he won the Haydock Park Sprint. Jason Smith, who looks after our racehorses here, brought the pedigree and the race performance to me and said, "What do you think about this horse?" I didn't think he'd be available. Within 2 weeks, we had a call from Nico de Chambieu at Ettraham and said he was looking for a Southern Hemisphere partner because the horse had been offered to him. And we talked about the money. I spoke to Brendan about it. And I think probably the most compelling part of the purchase was the fact that he was going to race on next year. That had a lot of appeal for us, particularly the races he's going to run in next year. We just thought it ticked a lot of boxes. So we said yes. And Hello Youmzain is partly Cambridge now. Kodiak's an interesting stallion. He went to stud, I think, at about €5,000. Currently stands at €65,000, and that's a pretty strong sign that he's made it from the bottom up. And that's always a very good thing with stallion strength and pedigree lines and that sort of thing. Obviously he's by Danehill, but importantly he's a half-brother to Invincible Spirit. Mum's by Shamadal, and he's had an absolutely stellar year in Europe this year. I think he's got 3 Group 1 winning 2-year-olds. I mean, the sky's the limit for him next year. If you put those 3 stallions together, I'm not going to tell the Australian buyers what they want, but I'm assuming that looking at what they're buying in Australia at the moment, I Am Invincible, Danehill line stallions, it's still very, very important part of their DNA and their racing to have those stallions available. Had we not bought Hello Youmzain, we probably would have looked for something similar in Australia. But the problem with Australia is it's a very competitive market, and we're about 4th in the queue. So that makes it hard.
He was a winner as a 2-year-old, and that's always a very important thing, particularly for Australian broodmare owners and purchasers at the sales.
Yeah, look, we've had a bit of dialogue with Kevin Ryan, his trainer, and I've also spoken to James Doyle, who's going to be his rider for most of next year. James rode for us at Godolphin, and obviously I know him well enough to talk to him about the horse. He was quite immature last year. He's a very big horse, very long. They felt that he probably wasn't quite ready last year, and if you watch him in the gates at Ascot this year as a 3-year-old, he's mucking around, and he missed the start by a couple of lengths in the Commonwealth Cup, which probably cost him 2nd place. I'm not saying he would have won it, but he would have probably got a bit closer. But I think mentally Kevin thinks that his best year will probably be next year. So as long as, fingers crossed, he stays sound, we're going to have a nice horse to run for us next year.
Well, he's also travelled to France as well, won the Criterium de Maison Lafitte at a Group 2 again, and then the Sandy Lane, he's well travelled, but he's won those Group 2s as well as obviously the Group 1 too, but he's been fairly consistent even as an immature horse.
Yeah, and I think his Group 1 form is good form. I mean, UK Group 1 form, the Commonwealth Cup has quickly established itself as the benchmark sprint race for 3-year-old colts. It's like the Coolmore in Australia. It's very much a sort of headline race for colts and stallions. He ran 3rd in that, behind 2 very good colts. They're all rated around that 124, 125 time form rating, which is high. If we could get to 130 next year, the sky's the limit. The agreement we have with Ettraham, with Nicholas, is that if something goes wrong, and it looks like his first season will be in New Zealand, then his first season will be 2020 in New Zealand. Theoretically, nothing will go wrong, and he'll race all of next year, then he'll retire to Ettraham in 2021, and come to us in the what is their autumn of that year. The races that we're looking at next year would be something like the Palace House at Newmarket, which is a good kick-off point, the Guineas meeting. Hopefully the Diamond Jubilee at Ascot, July Cup, and then probably back to Haydock. If you had those 4 races in mind for him, you wouldn't really need to go anywhere else. As I said, I think the Australian dynamic's difficult for us at the moment because there are probably 3 or 4 major players in that market. They join together at yearling sales now. There's lots of groups and partnerships buying colts and that sort of thing. That makes it very difficult for a Kiwi stud to actually compete at that level because our marketplace is different. It's more conservative, and we have to, our eye on the main prize here is this report being adopted and things starting to move here. But we are still years away from that coming to full fruition. And I think we've just got to be careful, buy the horses at a level that the market will accept here. You know, that's exactly what we've got to do. And if that means we have to keep looking in Europe, we'll keep looking.